Hi, my name is Lloyd Gross. I am a professional tutor with the Learning Center here at Genesee Community College. In this video, we're going to talk about taking an existing PowerPoint that you've done for a homework assignment and turning it into a video narrated with your voice that you can upload. If you don't know how to make a PowerPoint, check out our YouTube channel. We've got a handy dandy video on how to make a PowerPoint. But at this point, we're assuming that you've already made it and you're just ready to present it to the class. Now, if we were presenting in person, we would go over to the slideshow menu and we would click from beginning or from current slide, and we would start presenting and just start talking. But how do we do that in an online environment? How do we record? Well, there's another button over here, Record Slideshow. When I click on that button, PowerPoint's going to do some really interesting things to my screen. I have two monitors, so PowerPoint assumes that I want the presentation on one monitor and my presenter view on the other monitor. Many of you who only have one monitor are going to see this. This is the presenter view. On the presenter view, I want to point out to you a couple of things. First of all, on the bottom right, there's the microphone icon. Turn my microphone on and off. And there is the video icon. Turn my camera on and off. So if I want my face in the corner of this video, I can have that. I don't want that. I'm going to leave it off. The second thing I want to point out to you are the buttons up here in the top left. Record, stop recording, and replay the recording. These are the same as any recording device that you're used to. So I will open my notes here. Just click on that and my speaking notes come up, and I will go ahead and do a recording. Now, PowerPoint records audio separately for each slide. So I'm really not worried about my whole presentation. I'm only worried about the slide that I'm on. I'll hit record. 3, 2, 1. And this is my recording. My name is Lloyd. I'm a professional tutor, and I would go through my whole spiel here and stop recording. If you were paying attention, you noticed that there was a bit of dead space between the time I stopped speaking and the time I hit stop. One of the things that I discovered quite by accident is if I hit stop recording as soon as I'm done speaking, PowerPoint eliminates the last word that I said. It's not very nice. So typically when I'm recording a slide, I will wait a second before hitting that stop button. So now let's replay it to hear what it sounds like. This is my recording. My name is Lloyd. I'm a professional tutor, and I would go through my whole spiel. Okay, sounds good to me. I like it. If I don't like it, there's a clear button over here. I can clear the recording on this slide, and I can record it again. I can do that as many times as I like. But I'm just going to say I like it. I'm going to go ahead and go to do a second slide, and we'll record on this one. And this is my housekeeping slide where I talk about muting your microphone and muting your video, or turn your video on and off so that we don't see you doing something embarrassing. And now I've recorded audio for the second slide. And that's how to record audio for each of your slides. You go through, you don't have to have audio on every single slide. If there's a slide that you don't want to read out loud, you don't have to. That's okay. Just don't record any audio for it. Skip over to the next one. When I'm done, I'm going to close out the recording view. I'm going to right click on my slideshow and choose End Show. And that brings me back to PowerPoint. It's not immediately obvious that I've recorded narrations on these slides, but if you look in the bottom right of the slide here, there's this little speaker icon that indicates that there is a narration on this slide. And if I mouse over it, that's a place where I could listen to those narrations to make sure that they're correct. And PowerPoint has done that for every slide for which I have recorded audio. So those are all saved there, and they're saved in the file. So now what do I do? Well, now I want to export it as a movie. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Export, and I'm going to choose Create a Video. And what quality do I want it in? Well, Ultra HD. I want movie quality. No, I don't. We're going to put this in HD or 720p. For some of you, it will say medium file size. For some of you, it will say internet quality. It depends on what version of PowerPoint you have. But 720 is a good quality for sharing across the internet because it's a decent quality, but it's not so huge that it's going to take forever to upload. I'm going to allow PowerPoint to use the recording timings and narrations. So for every slide I have a recording for, it's going to display the slide for long enough for that recording to play. And then for slides that I don't have narration, they're going to be on screen for 5 seconds. I can adjust that if I like, and then I'll create video. And this is the point where I decide what to name my file and where it's going. Narration. Very important. Pay attention to where on your hard drive you're saving that file. Nobody else can tell you where it went but you. And you'll click on Save. Now, this particular slideshow has almost 100 slides in it, so it's going to take a little while to export. I'm not going to wait for it to do that. But I will tell you now, your next step would be to go into Blackboard and go into your assignment. And as you go to the bottom of the page of Submit Your Assignment, somewhere in there is going to be Select a File. And I click on the button to select a file. I find this file wherever I have put it on my hard drive. I submit it, and I have now submitted my narrated PowerPoint presentation as if I was giving the presentation in class. And that is how you submit a PowerPoint as a narrated presentation. Be sure to subscribe to GCC's Learning Center YouTube channel. We have other videos on common sticking points for GCC students.